All right, so this is part 2. The recording has started. I think the only person who is new joining us would be Aaron. Great. So I'm going to do my screen share here. I'm confused. Screen share. Why is this thing in the way? Is that in the way or what? My goodness. Okay. So we were talking about how what it's asking for now is you have to identify the programming language and the purpose of your program. So that would be almost like a pitch or a small description. And explain the video either by doing a summary or by doing a narration in the video, but the video can only be 1 minute long, so you can't really do much with it. Then they asked to describe the process that you went through and what parts were collaborative versus independent, and just going through what was the developmental process, what was it like. So I would guess it would be something like the brainstorming, the trying to write an algorithm, implementing it, testing it, debugging it, doing some more coding, maybe having some user testing or user feedback, and going back and kind of doing the process over. But they're limited to approximately 200 words. Then they have to capture and screenshot the most complex algorithm that they have in their app. For our case, the app, and explain the complexity of the algorithm and how it functions in their app. So about 200 words for that. And then they have to screenshot a piece of code that contains an abstraction and explain that in about 200 words. So the write-up portion becomes a little bit more focused around these things, rather than, like Aaron was saying before we got cut off, that rather than just taking a screenshot explaining that, or like if it's just a button click that changes the background color, it's not necessary to highlight that. They don't need to take individual screenshots of each individual block and explain each block. They need to take a larger snippet of, approximately 2 different major pieces of the code and explain it. And then the last part, which is slightly different, is they want to see the entire program code. For us, we know that as the AIA file, but they want it in a PDF format. So I know if we have a lot of code, it can be hard to capture everything in one screen. So I would probably say take screenshots, put them into maybe a Google Doc, right? And then you can save or download the Google Doc as a PDF. That would be probably the best way to go about doing that.
Can I offer a suggestion?
Yep.
I've been having students do a 2-cell table in the Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
So on the left side, they put in their image, and it's only 1 or 2 blocks of code, so it doesn't go up and be really tiny and take up a whole page. And then on the other side of the table, they type up their description as what it does. It worked out really well. My robotics team has been using that format, and they won an award with it at their last competition. And it really makes it easy because a lot of times as the kids are putting snippets into their website or their Google Doc, either the snippets are too small and they try and jumble too much code on the screen, or they were trying to do it in a Google Doc and it falls in between the pages in the text. Mm-hmm. So inserting one side of a table has been working out really well.
I do that too. I agree, Mike.
Can I ask a question? Is there an example of this whole write-up or a sample
exemplar
of this by chance, just so I can say, hey, students, this is what it should look like, X, Y, Z, or should we create one for them and then model it, or you know what I mean?
This is brand new, Aaron. This was released literally to us last week from the College Board, and it's updated from the March one. The last exemplars that we had chosen were ones that I'm not sure which one they followed, but they're linked into how to do the write-up as sample A, B, and C. And in another Hangout, we had discussed those. Those are the latest ones we had that were from actual student samples. But I think that the hard thing here is that no one yet has done exactly what the College Board has been asking for. So when we're talking about a write-up, they're not asking for each individual piece of code to be described. They're looking for just portions, like they're looking for the most complex part, the most abstract part, and then here it's saying anything that you didn't create on your own or someone else wrote it and contributed, you have to explain what it is that what they did and how they did it. So I think some of the things that we have, since nobody has really that we know of, like specifically followed this yet, we have stuff that has a lot more detail than what they're asking for.
Right. If you do the video and the collaboration with this, is each person responsible for their own individual write-up for this piece, or is it the video is a consolidation of the two people, and is it broken down say all right, I'll take C, you take D, and you take A, or is it sort of combined effort? I don't know, you know what I mean?
They have made it now, so we were discussing at the beginning on the first page, they made it now that it's not, everything isn't collaborative. It's everyone does their own individual project. Okay. To some extent, and you collaborate with someone else. If you choose to do an entire project with someone and work the entire time with someone, you have to do at least one part of the app by yourself. Okay.
And I think they had that, didn't they, Pauline? That was in the old version as well.
Right. And I for this, it's my understanding is they want everything now. Everything is individual turned in because they're grading it, they're giving it, this is counting as part of the final AP exam grade. Yeah. Right? They're not just taking just the final grade that they get on the paper and pencil exam. This is actually getting factored into their individual grade.
Yeah, but I think that we're doing that in the Mobile CSP anyway, because everything that the students do, they still have to do their own write-up. Even when they pair program, they still have to do their individual write-up. So, or at least that's what I've been doing. So I think that we're pretty much on track as far as that goes.
Right.
It's good.
Right. So I would say, everybody's doing their own, they can work together, they can collaborate as always, but everybody should have their own write-up, answer their own questions, right? The video length is just 1 minute, and it's saying you don't even have to do narration. You can just write a summary. Whoops, that's the other recording coming up there. So, the video could be, they create it together and then they explain it differently in, different summaries. Or they do different narrations to narrate the same video that they had. So I think maybe it would be nice if somebody who was coming up and about to do this, I'm saying this off the top of my head here, but potentially maybe Scott, who's getting ready to do this, could maybe go ahead and follow exactly what's written here on the, to really test out how does this work. If you give this 3-page document to the students and tell them to follow it, and it's a practice, so you can tell them, you can kind of explain to them what things mean, but really get an example of a write-up that's based off of exactly what they're asking for.
Is there a certain time limit when? I know you got to teach them the basics to get up to this level, but is there a time frame for how long it should take to do the video and to do the write-up? Is it you have 2 weeks, or is it kind of however, as long as you get it done, prior to? I didn't see the beginning part of that.
Right. So in the old one, it specified 15 hours of class time. In this one, the new one, they cut it down to 12 hours of class time. But as we were talking about earlier, that's class time. They can work on it outside of class.
Okay.
But you have to, at the bare minimum, you have to give them 12 hours of class time.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question for you at the end of the the session for you. Just, I don't know if it's off the task or not, in regards to the availability for the teaching this, because I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier, like AP level courses, whether is that being driven by anybody can teach it, or is it only like, you know what I mean? Like, is there certain requirements for those teaching AP? Because there's a concern at my school about that, and I don't know if I'll be able to teach it next year.
Okay, so there's a document that I had put together using Jackie and Chinma, the pilot instructors, on the AP process. There's a document in the Mobile CSP course about that, so we can talk about that. This recording is timed, and I want to make sure that we get cut off after a certain time.
Okay. Yep.
I just want to make sure that we get through everything that was.
Okay.
Just remind me, there's a document already written up with the steps that you need to take.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pauline, the only thing that I noticed is that there's nothing that the students have to cite their sources for images and sounds that they use in their apps. Really, I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't see anything either, did you?
No, and they said they were going to come out with the rubrics to go along with these. They hadn't yet come out with the new rubrics. So I'm wondering if maybe the rubrics, it's going to be in the rubric somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really surprised about that, but.
Very true. We had a whole nother conversation on plagiarism too.
Right, I know. So this definitely might be something that we want to sort of follow up on.
Yes.
Pauline?
Yep.
My people from my Duluth group are really going to know the requirements for teaching it as AP teachers. So can we get something sent out, or like a link to it sent out soon?
For what?
The requirements to teach it as a AP teacher.
So that was the document when your group had asked me before. That's the document that I created that says how to become the AP. And I guess I'll take the time to say it now, that they don't have anything, and I know I'm being recorded, but they don't have anything specific that's yet detailed about the training for the summer, right? They're still scrambling to get the syllabi from all the CSP projects up and on. I'm in the process of doing mobile CSPs right now, getting our documents ready for them so they can review them and approve us to be on their website. But there is nothing yet released about the summer training or anything like that. All I have is that general document that I made with the general steps, with the idea of what we've been hearing overall, that I made specifically for your group. It's called Becoming an AP Instructor, and I even linked it into the teacher side of the course for everybody to see. So it is there. But again, no specific details about when a particular course in the summer is going to need to be taken. No specific details have been released. They're really not going to give specific stuff until around March or April, right? They're still right as of right now. This course does not exist. There is no AP course.
That's scary.
Okay, because no, it's brand new, right? They have to go through the process of endorsing all of these curriculum and have to get it out there, right? So they're going through this process of trying to approve all of these different curriculum documents and trying to get everything together, and they're still planning, and it's the first time through. So as of right now, there really is nothing. We just know that it's going to happen, right? There's nothing guaranteed right now.
Pauline, has Ralph talked at all about, I mean, most people that finish the course finished it, the last section, in June. They have to have it finished by May to do an AP test. Have they addressed that at all?
So that would be something that Mobile CSP has to go over to redo. We do plan on, we're trying to go through, there's so much going on right now. We're trying to meet all the deadlines, all the different things we're doing. Things are going to be like taken out of the course and cut down a lot, so that can be done. So that way you can do the final project before May. So you can have
Good, because right now, I don't see how people can do it.
I know, and you got to also remember too that you have a semester course, right? And it's really intended to be a full year course.
I totally get that, but it's, I'm not just talking for me. I've got a whole set of students, and they're asking for this as well.
Right. I think a lot of the things that we're doing is trying to cut down, you know, some of the things that are drawn out, and we're going to see changes coming. They're coming.
Yeah. Pauline, I'm not that worried about the timing. I think you can get it done. I think what I see is I think that right now we have students in our classes that are not AP level students, and I think if this isn't, like, at least at my school, I think you have to offer this at 2 different levels, an AP level and not an AP level. And at the AP level, students at that level, my students that are at that level would be able to do this and complete this by May. So I'm not too worried about the timing. I mean, I think you want to have as many students, and you know who I'm talking about. You saw my crowd last year that really, those are the ones I'm talking about. They're the ones that drag the whole class time down. So I think those students would not be in the AP course.
Right. So changes are coming. We're just trying to meet all the deadlines right now before we try to revamp the curriculum. There's nothing on our end other than if you're part of the research. There's nothing that says you have to spend, you know, every single amount of documented time that we say in those lesson plans to do everything, you know, in one particular way. I mean, there are things like the paint pot projects. They're split into 4 different lessons. You don't need to do that, right? You can cut down time. 4 different lessons for the paint pot. You could cut it down. You could.
Already done.
Right. It's extended over a lot of time, but there are definitely ways to cut it down. So we're going to examine all that and do all that. But as of right now, those are things that you have to assess individually and make the decision on your own as far as how are your students doing. Do you need to do more of this, or do you need to do more non-programming stuff? You kind of have to assess, you know, what you want to take more time doing, right? You know, there's going to be some changes coming. They're coming. It's just right now we are all crunching for time to meet these deadlines. 2 huge deadlines coming up in the next couple of weeks. So it's a lot going on for us. So hang in there. Again, nothing official is out as far as the AP stuff, right? And becoming the AP instructor, because the course has to exist first, right? And they're still in the planning phase. As you see, they just released, you know, the new tabs, right? So are there any more questions about the Create project? This stinks that we only have about 4 minutes left and we didn't even get to talk about the Explore project.
Next meeting. Of course, I'll be doing it close to that, but you know.
Yeah. Can we just click on the Explore? Did I read this right? Or they have to describe the development process of making their artifact?
All right, so let's see. Ooh, that's the wrong one. What did I do? Did I link it twice?
I don't know. It looks like it.
That's funny.
Pauline?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay? This is Michelle.
Yep.
I just have a question on Create about the individual write-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, we're really, you know, at the point where I've got them I had them do one write-up, but I had them document the entire process the entire time. I was like driving them the entire time. If you have a problem, document it. If you have a problem, document it. So should I have them go and do like an individual reflection now? Or how do you think I should handle that? I think an individual reflection would work.
So did they do the individual responses like this?
Well, I'm not, I mean, as far as some, I think that some were, but I think more, it's not really specifically individual. I mean, it's,
So, I mean, if you look at these questions, these are the type of questions. There's 3 questions here. These are the type of questions
Dave, can you get that?
expecting them to be able to explain on their own. So you could say, okay, here's this. You have to write no more than 600 words explaining, answering these questions. They can write as little or as much as they want, or you can give them a different word limit.
right.
That way it focuses, instead of just saying an open-ended reflection, you give them some prompt. These are the prompts that they would answer.
And I should go by the old document, not the new document, right?
It's not really going to matter. I would think
matter. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always kind of confused a little bit on that. I mean, we went over the rubric, and in the rubric it had the individual responses, but they've done one document, but I've had them writing the entire time because I don't like them to stop writing. So I'm like, keep writing, keep documenting, keep documenting.
Hey, Pauline, I gotta go.
Okay.
Hello, Betsy.
Bye, Betsy. Hey, Chinma.
Hey, Gemma. See you
How are
guys later.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah.
good.
I think it's that one.
Sorry.
Guys, I'm going to have to split a little bit early tonight, too. I'm sorry I can't stay for the whole thing. My battery is literally about to die, and I don't have my charger because I left it at school. I have about 10% left, so I think it's going to drain pretty quickly once it goes to like 5, and then it's going to be like out. So
Okay, good to see all of you.
good to see you guys. Thank you again, Pauline, for everything. Nice to meet some of you new folks there. Sorry I haven't been available for the last couple Mondays, but looks exciting. And Pauline, expect the package from me within the week.
Okay. Thanks.
See you, Chinma.
Okay, thank you. If you're free on the 12th, come and help me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here, if you're still here, I think it's this one. This one is the Explorer. Can you see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I just changed the link. It should be correct in the Hangout agenda now. Sorry about that. So it provides an overview. I think we know that it's about exploring a computing innovation. This one, it's specifying 8 hours of class time to do an artifact and a written response. There's no change there. Okay. The general requirement, you have to select and investigate some type of computational innovation that has had the potential to have significant beneficial and harmful effects on society, economy, or culture, consumes, produces, and/or transforms data, raises at least one data storage concern, data privacy concern, or data security concern. And I think throughout the course we're talking about data and we're talking about privacy and security. So we do talk about these, whether it be through blown to bits discussions and the impact of our world being in a digital society, or whether we cover internet lessons. I think we're covering this in various ways. So it says you're required to investigate your computing innovation using a variety of sources. Cite at least 3 sources that have helped you create your computational artifact. I think is that one different? Is that one?
I don't think so. I think that it seems like it was 3 sources before.
Okay. At least 2 must be available online or in print. Your third source may be either online, in print, or a personal interview. At least 2 of the sources must have been created after the end of the previous academic year. So it has to be relevant, it has to be recent, right? Produce a computational artifact that illustrates, represents, or explains the computing innovation's intended purpose, its function, or its effect. Then provide written responses to questions about your computational artifact and your innovation. So in more detail, it talks about submission. The artifact must provide an illustration, representation, or explanation of the computing innovation's intended purpose, its function, or its effect. The computational artifact must not simply repeat the information supplied in the written responses. It should be primarily non-textual. You can submit a video, audio, or PDF file. Okay. And they give you some limits. If it were a video, again, can't exceed 1 minute. The PDF cannot exceed more than 3 pages. And I think previously we had talked about some examples of things. So does anybody want to throw some examples out there? Like what are some things that the students can make?
Oh, we did those like posters, those info. I don't, what's that program? I can't remember the program we used, but like PictoChart or
infographic.
Yeah.
I know they have like an XMind, and you can make a lot of maps and graphical organizational tools right through there. I wonder if you could submit, I guess, yeah, you could submit a PDF. So if you use like a graphic organizer to help lay out, you know, your graphical components, you probably could do that. Has anyone ever submitted an audio file? So as I can see, there's an MP3.
I don't know, Chema, did any of your students do audio last year?
No, what they had were videos only.
So is that a new one? Is that new then, the audio?
No, it's been there. It depends on what students want to do. The students, I think my students last year were doing it last minute. So they wanted something that was easy for them to do. So they made their pitches. That's the planned a plot and then executed it. It could be them teaching their classmates and recording it, whatever. They put up some type of show that describes whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they recorded it and had cut it to 1 minute and then submitted it. But I think Pauline gave us a template last year for doing posters or whatever else we wanted. So we could do, as long as it captures all the things they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
The presentation method doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I talked about how this is supposed to be AP level and you want something that is acceptable for a college level, so to speak. I had shared with everyone that at Trinity we do the educational research posters. Inside the Mobile CSP projects folder is the template that I shared, where you do like the different headings and you summarize basically the process and information that you've gathered. So it's more of an educational research poster template than just a, you know, words and pictures type thing. There's less pictures on the educational research posters that we make at Trinity and other institutions as well.
They can use a poster like that to capture their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And then after capturing it, they can speak about it or show it or act it. But it's like having a focused pen about the content that you want to get across.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can submit the poster itself. It's still good.
Okay, so that was the warning. 10 minutes left in the recording. We don't have to spend 10 minutes, but just a warning. Are there any questions about the artifact itself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the second part would be the written responses. You want a PDF in which you respond directly to the prompts that are given about your artifact and the innovation. You must provide evidence of extensive knowledge you have developed about your chosen innovation and its impacts. Write your responses so they would be understandable to someone who is not familiar with the innovation. Include citations, and altogether, response to all prompts combined must not exceed 700 words. Yeah. So about the artifact, you have to provide information about the innovation that you are talking about, describe the innovation's intended purpose and its function, describe how it illustrates, represents, or explains the computing innovation's intended purpose, its function, or its effect. Okay, so you pick one of those three. And that would all be about 100 words or so. Then you describe your development process and identify the computing tools and techniques you use to create your artifact. Your description must be detailed enough so the person unfamiliar with the tools and techniques would understand your process. About 100 words there. So basically you have 200 words or less or so to describe your artifact. And then the rest is dedicated to answering the prompts about your innovation itself. So it's explained at least one beneficial effect, at least one harmful effect about the computing innovation that has had or has the potential to have on society, economy, or culture. So it's pretty much the same, stayed the same. Then using specific details, describe the data your innovation uses, how the innovation consumes as input, produces as output, and transforms data. That one is pretty detailed and changed, I think. If you look at the last one, it wasn't as specific. I believe they ended up changing it and making it more specific about, and more clearer about what they were asking for. And again, one data concern, privacy concern, or security concern directly related to the computing innovation. So I think they got a lot more specific about what they were asking for as far as data is concerned.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good though, Pauline, because I think it helps you to narrow down if it's going to be a good choice for an innovation. So if you look at your innovation and you can't come up with something about these topics, then you need to look some more, which I think it'll make it easier for us when we're talking to the students about how to pick their innovation.
Yes. And then this is a reminder that these are just the tasks. These aren't the teacher supplemental things that go with them, reminding you about certain things. So one of those things was, try not to have this, two students writing about the same topic. So try to make sure everybody picks a different topic. They're free to choose what they want to choose, as long as they can answer the questions about it, but they shouldn't be writing about the same topic. And then lastly, it ends with the references, being a little more detailed about what it mentioned up above. Provide a list of at least 3 online or print sources used to create your computational artifact, or that support your responses provided in the performance task. And it goes through the timing, that they must be recent, how to specifically cite each type, whether it's online or print. They talk about here's an interview source. I think it's pretty specific. And then if you choose to do that, and then basically how to cite all of them. So the numbering of each source, make sure it's relevant, credible, and easily accessed. So credible. What do we say is credible? So any questions about the Explorer?
No, I just wanted to, I think before the real AP, the formatting of the references will be released by the College Board, and also the way to submit it. So we will get specific information on the references and the formatting. It's going to be returned to the College Board through Turnitin, which will check whether students plagiarized or not. So the college board will help teachers with so many different things. So there's no need to worry. Larry, how are you?
I'm good, Chinma. Good to see you.
Yes, that's fine. How is the year going?
It's going well. Matt and I spent a lot of time together. We're muddling through. Thanks to Pauline's help, we're getting there.
Okay, that's good.
All right, Pauline, I'm going to have to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sounds good.
Melissa, good night.
See ya.
Yeah,
Good night, everyone.
Good
good
night.
night. Oh, your son.
Yeah, this is Christopher. That's number 2.
Christopher, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. He's 10 months.
That's good.
Yeah, he's going to bed now.
That's
Thanks.
good. Okay.
Very nice, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good night.
Take care, guys.
Have a good
night.
Thanksgiving.
Night.
Yeah, you as well. Everyone, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Happy Thanksgiving.